Hi everybody, it's Carrie and welcome back to another video. As you guys can tell, we're in a different part of my room. Look at this. Super cute. I got my plushies behind me and let me lift the camera super quickly so you guys can see above. I also have pictures of my two horses. Bear is the white one and Sally is no longer with us, and then Sloan. Super cute. When I recently just closed one of my stores, I decided that I was going to take some of the shelves and everything because like I didn't have a purpose for them and I can't use them at markets because they go into the wall. So I was like, how nice would it be to put them on this wall that I have my Cricut and then my eye stuff like here. So I was like, how nice would it be to put this up? And then it's a new place for us to record, which is super fun. I can't believe that it's already 2025 when I'm like recording this. It's actually the first day of 2025. I didn't have time to record this because of course like I have to be careful about like the lighting and stuff because of the glare. So you already know, we already know how it is, but I can't believe that it's already the first day. It feels like just the other day that it was like 2024. I was getting ready to do my first complete year of markets and crocheting since I started crocheting like June or July in 2023. So it was kind of like 5-6 months, you know, it wasn't like a full year or anything. So 2024 was my full year of crocheting and I did a lot of things over the year. Like I felt like I didn't, but I definitely did do more than I guess I kind of thought. Like I am a person who constantly loves to work and I think I had a lot more goals, but at the same time I'm not really like a goal person. Like, you know, there's some people who will like literally write down every aspect of their life and they will like plan out the year and they will write goals and goals. My goal is just to get through the year. Like I'm not trying to do anything else really, like just survive another year, and I feel like I've already accomplished so much in my life. So I'm not one of those people, but I definitely think I came in 2024 like thinking I was gonna do a little bit more. Maybe my business would be like a little bit more sustainable, but 2024 proved me not right. I definitely did not quite hit sustainable. I did actually write down a lot of stuff to kind of talk about and go over about some of the things with markets, stores. I get asked a lot about stores and I am planning on doing like a completely separate store related video. 2025 with some of my YouTube content, I want to do two things. I'm still gonna do weekly vlogs. I'm still gonna do like what I crocheted in a week videos, but I want to incorporate a lot more of like the horse aspect because it is such a big part of my life into my videos. And then as well, I want to also do free tutorials. I'm gonna work on drafting up some patterns in the next couple weeks for mini like makes, for potentially having a bin like at markets for like $8 or $10 makes, because the cheapest item I have at my markets currently is $12, and I definitely get like a lot of little kids who only have like $8, $10. So definitely going to be looking at doing stuff like that. And then the other part of it is having more informational stuff. I feel like after doing markets for a year and being involved in this space a little bit longer, I feel like I have some knowledge, like not all the knowledge, guys, like girl, I still got so much to learn, but I definitely feel like I know a little bit more definitely than when I started out in 2023. I mean, as always, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I think I at least know to crochet through both loops now. I only crochet through the top loop or the front loop for the longest time, so I'm already like 10 steps smarter than I was when I started out. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about stores. I'm going to give you guys an overview about some of the things and then just briefly touch up on some of my goals. Like I said, I am not a goal person. I am a what's the day going to take me and what's going to happen. There's zero goals in this body. I have two of my notebooks. I use a ton of notebooks to write in, and I really love this little Korean brand right here. I think the illustrations are super cute. So this one right here is primarily for business numbers, an idea that I have for the future, kind of stuff more like that. Like I also have written down my market schedule. I have written down patterns that I'm going to be carrying over into 2025. I am phasing out of certain patterns for the year, a lot of that being like patterns that I just really don't think that I need. An example of that's like leggy frogs. Like, I don't need that. When I go to markets, there's always like 4 other crochet people there, and I feel like leggy frogs, bees, the little short chunky like little mushroom men, like they're just, I don't want to say generic, but they are very common for crochet people. I don't really think that fits with my brand because I like to try and have, I mean, I have whales, I have all those things, but I definitely try and stay away from like too common of patterns, if that makes sense. I am phasing out of patterns for 2025, things like that, but I am still carrying over a good deal of patterns and also adding new animals. I wrote down some characters, animals that I'm going to be carrying over, and then also thinking of things like there's a few patterns in 2024 I did, one of them being my little miniature panda pattern, and that was from Haru Crochets. The pattern just didn't sell that great, and I kind of knew it wouldn't sell that great. Like, it wasn't the best thing, but it was easy to make. So there's a few like animals and stuff that I'm still continuing them, but I'm gonna alter the pattern and try and find new replacement patterns to see how it affects sales. Because like pandas being an example, I always get asked about pandas, but I don't think that particular panda pattern is like the best pattern, and I definitely don't believe in staying, well, let's just say married to patterns, especially since you're running your own business and nobody's like holding you like you have to do XYZ. You do have a lot more flexibility and you can alter things to better fit with, well, what's selling. Every year things change. I mean, look, what was it? Last year was like the year of love cats. I'm not doing love cats anymore. So like cats are another example. I'm trying to find a completely new cat pattern that's separate from the cats that I've been seeing. Like I said, love cats, of course, things like that. So that's what this folder is. It has some of my numbers that I kind of wrote down. You guys know I'm not a scripter type of gal, but I did make an attempt to write a few numbers down for y'all, make life easier. And this is my journal that I just got this year. Super pretty. I'm not gonna show like too much of it because I'm definitely treating it as like a journal and stuff and writing down my emotions. But I got a cute little printer, so as you can see I can kind of like take photos. I've been logging the photos or like new patterns I've been doing. I've been taking photos of them, printing them out, putting them on this, so it's been a lot of fun. So I also have a few goals just like in the front of the book that I will read to you guys right now. I have literally 4 goals. Now I definitely go through the day and I'm like, oh, this could be a really good goal, and then I'm like, I am writing it down. So there's definitely more goals I have, but these are just the 4 that I guess I felt like writing down one day. Like, come on guys, you'll know me. Do I take many things very seriously? No. One of my first goals is to apply for a convention and hopefully be accepted as a vendor. I don't know if this is gonna happen because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like getting into conventions is super, super hard. I don't know if my work is up to quality per se with the anime world. I did apply for MomoCon, which is in May, and it's here in Atlanta, but I haven't heard anything. I know that applications, like if you got accepted or denied, come out this month. I'm just kind of like looking at my computer like, do I think it's gonna happen? No. If it happened, I would be like, honestly, like shocked to even get accepted, and then I would have to try and figure out so much stuff with like the barn, going to a 4-day, which would technically be 5 days for me with setup, convention, running the facility while I'm not there, finding help. Like, it would be a really big ordeal, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, if I got accepted, would I ever have an opportunity to do something like this? I don't know. I did have that down as a goal, but I don't think it's achievable. I achieved the first part. I can't control the second part. The second thing is I want to look at manufacturing some type of product for my business. Now, I'm not exactly I don't know what that is. One of my main mottos in 2025 is to try and make my business a little bit more sustainable. When I read some of the numbers, you're gonna be like, girl, this isn't a livable income. It's not. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not. I want it to be a little bit more sustainable so I can continue to put some money towards like my retirement and then like my stocks and everything, because essentially what happens when I do markets, I take out money to pay for my horse's bills, his medical expenses, to cover business expenses, and then whatever money I have left over goes either into a savings account or it goes into a stock like retirement account. I don't really personally keep like much of the money at all for personal things. I'm just like very disciplined. It either goes to horses, and I always have to keep extra money for horses because like, and that's one of the things, but the savings account is at least if it's in there, I can touch it if I need to pay for something. But I try and do that, so I don't really keep money for myself. I don't really buy many things for myself. Like I feel like I only buy things either for Sloan or my business. I definitely want to try next year though to make it more sustainable. A few things that I'm doing to hopefully do that is to try and write a few more patterns. I am gonna do a little bit more frequent drops for like felt eyes. I am waiting for a shipment of the blank eyes to come in so I can paste some safety eyes. And then as well, I'm looking at doing some stitch markers, like crafting them with like clay and everything. So trying to branch out my products besides just things that like I'm crocheting, I guess, because like felt eyes, painting eyes, things like that, of course it's gonna take like way less time than for me to like crochet a piece. And then of course if I have a group of people who maybe also crochet, they might not be interested in my plushies, like people at market are more interested. So I've been brainstorming ways in that regard to kind of like branch out. As for manufactured, I don't even know what that would be. Like I'm definitely still looking into manufacturers for yarn. I just haven't found anyone who's quite up to my par. So that's kind of been a little sad. I've been still working, so I'm not quite certain what this is gonna be, but it's maybe gonna be something. I'm just gonna take it as it goes. So the other thing is I want to reach 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I definitely feel like it's possible. Over the last year, I think I got like 1,000 subscribers, and I definitely had times where I fell off, and I definitely feel like some of my videos aren't like great. Like they're very like the same copy and paste every single week, which is why I want to have more just overall different content. So I definitely want to try and reach 3,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, which I definitely feel like is possible, but I like wanted to give myself goals that I felt like were actually attainable, because like my brain's always reaching for like the biggest thing and never the smallest, easiest thing. So I said 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then I also wanted to reach 1,000 Instagram followers. That's all I have right now, but it's definitely not everything I'm planning or goals. One of my goals for this year that I don't have written down here is to upgrade my booth and make it better. I'm looking into doing better branding. Things like that are gonna be having thank you stickers that are actually like related to Traveling Pony Studios. I just used some thank you stickers off of Amazon last year, but I want to get something with like Sloan and Freya for the thank you stickers, changing the shopping bags to also be related to the brand. I'm looking at getting like a sign to kind of like either hang off the tent or be outside the tent with the brand as well. And then I have been trying to brainstorm things to do like inside the tent to make it a little bit more fit in with the brand. Like I feel like people don't understand Traveling Pony Studios with the crochet. Like they always ask me like, why is it Traveling Pony Studios? I feel like because there's that disconnect unless you know me like on social media. So I've been trying to brainstorm ways to like incorporate maybe like my booth set up with the horse aspect. So I thought maybe I could find a way to make like the booth kind of feel like a barn, but I'm not certain how I would be able to translate that super well. So that's definitely a plan though. I definitely want to increase like my booth and then also my branding, because I feel like the product's there, but I feel like the experience and it could be like 100 times better for my consumer. So that's one goal I have. And then another goal I have is I have been asked to teach so much. I can't even tell you how much I've been asked. I've been asked to go to people's houses. I've been asked to go to schools. I'm like, oh. One of my goals for this year is I actually have an office space in my barn. It's a pretty decent sized office. It's like heating, AC, the whole 9 yards. I have so much stuff in there that I just don't use. I have like 15 years worth of horse stuff in there. I keep getting asked, can you teach crochet? Can you do this? Can you do this? So I have been very slowly starting to go through that room and like pick things out, try and change things up a little bit. One of my goals in 2025 is to have like a teaching class. I don't know if it's gonna be something where it's gonna be like reoccurring, maybe it's like once a month, but I do want to try and teach people. Luckily, because of doing horses for so long, I do have experience teaching other people, of course, you know, riding and whatnot, just being in the industry since I was so young, and also just running some type of business since I was like 13. I do have a lot more, I think, like customer service and like ability to talk to people one-on-one and be pretty comfortable and explain things. It's definitely something that I'm looking into for 2025. I know if I did it, I already have like so many people who are like, please text me the details. I just have had zero energy to clean my office and to do it all, and to contact my lawyer, which I've already talked to her about briefly, about rewriting a new contract because it's going to be in my barn, which would also be a fun way to tie things in because people would come and they'd be like, oh, you crochet? And I'm like, yeah, here's my horse. This is why I do it. Those are kind of some of my like very brief goals. I definitely have a lot more, and like I said, I just don't write things down, and it just kind of like happens and goes. Let's talk a little bit about some of these numbers. It's nothing crazy, y'all. But in 2024, I attended 8 markets. Most of these markets were single day markets. I think I only attended one 2-day market, and that was my May market. So pretty much all of them were single day markets. I would say that I was really desperate just to get into any market that I could get into. And because it was my first year, I also didn't quite know where I would fit in with everything. So a few of the markets were just honestly my fault. It was really bad planning and really bad like picking. Like I should have had a common sense, but I didn't. I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so nice. Like one market, I picked it because I was like, oh, hours are like 11 or 12 to like 6. This is so perfect with my horses. I can do the barn, I can bring them in, but then I also didn't like take into account the location, how things would sell. The market I did last year was like just that somebody's insurance. So it's like not every market was the best market for me. Heading into 2025, my current schedule actually is a lot more weekend markets. So I have like a market in April, MomoCon in May if I get in. If not, I'll probably do the Woodstock market I did last year. I'm taking June and July off because it gets really hot here in Georgia, and those are my worst selling months. And I think it was just because like there were some markets, it was 100 degrees. People really aren't in the mood to buy a lot of things in that time of year either. I'm not doing anything there. August, I'll try and get into my single day market. September, I'm trying to do a 2-day market, which would be a new one for me. October, I'm trying to get into a super big festival in Dahlonega called Gold Rush. And then November, I would be ending with a single day market, hopefully at my normal place. Pretty much all I have right here is the square revenue for the year over those 8 markets. Now, of course, this doesn't include cash, Venmo. Those are pretty much cash, Venmo, Square are my 3 main forms of payment for markets. Now, when it comes to customs and whatnot, I have been paid very like a handful of times on Zelle, and then PayPal, I only get paid on like that account with if I sell anything on store, which I think like the whole year I sold like 3 orders on my store, like online store. So I don't really count that necessarily in, and this also does not include Etsy. So patterns, felt eyes, all that type stuff. But my square revenue for 2024 was $9,432. That included 336 sales, and the average sale was about $28.01. Not too bad when you think about it, but I would say that like there were definitely like 3 markets in particular that made the number so high. One market in particular, which was my May market, I think that accounted for like $3,000. Like I said, this doesn't include cash. I mean, I guess technically if I had to take a guess, if we rounded it up with cash and Venmo, I would put it at closer to 15. It would be my guess, but I don't know. I don't have any of that written down yet. I haven't done my taxes. I got so far as to writing this much stuff down. Guys, we can't be that hopeful that I would like go the whole yard. Like, no. Now let's talk about stores. So the later portion of 2024, particularly my first store that I joined was in May, was my store era. I was like obsessed with this idea of getting into a store. I really wanted to get into a store, just like any store. And I did end up getting into 4 stores. And it was kind of crazy because everything happened like really, really close to one another. When I look at the numbers and like the dates, I'm like, dang girl, you really were like going too ham on things. Yeah, everything's really close together. Looking back on it, I don't think it was a bad thing, but I don't think it was the best thing for me. I think what I take away more is the experience. I feel like all of the time that I spent crocheting for stores, driving to stores, dealing with what comes with stores, I feel like that time I could have very easily put towards marketing, content creation, trying to build up my own online store, and have probably been better set up for 2025. I don't think stores are a bad thing. I definitely think they have their benefits, but for me, by the time I sat down and like looked at numbers, and by the time I sat down and factored everything into it, I don't know, I feel like I really missed out on an opportunity to spend time furthering myself, but at the same time it was good to have some extra money, but the money isn't as great as you may think at times. The first store I did it from May to December. The revenue I made was about $1,136, and the rent was about $402 for the time period I was there, so it ended up being about $734. This was my longest commute. It was about an hour to get there. I'm gonna be 100% honest, most months I did not hit rent. Like, I would magically sell something in the last day of the month to cover like the expense of rent. So some months I literally made $10 by the time I took out my rent. I think the first month, and then I think of course November and December were the months where I actually made a little bit more money, which would be like $100, $150 by the time the rent was taken out. By the time I like really was like, okay, this is such a drive, it just really was not worth it to me. And the fact that we're getting ready to enter into what I would consider like not a good time of year for stores in particular, your worst times are typically January, February, June, July. I was like, I don't really feel like wanting to re-sign the contract or do anything, so I did end up dropping that store. The other store, I have not been there fully for a full time, so my numbers are just September to November, but my profit was $2,033 for this time, and this is between two stores. My rent was about $1,092, and this included like rent and credit card fees, 30% commission. The first store, I should say, was like, I think it was 15% commission and credit card fee. So by the time I ended like calculating this, I realized I only had made about $940, which to me does not make it worth it. By the time you look at the percentage, I think it was like I was losing, like it was like 52 or 53%, which is just, it's not worth it to me. I am gonna be dropping out of that store. The contract goes to like February, so I've got to give my notice at some point that I'm not gonna continue to do it just because the numbers don't make sense to me. It's hard because sometimes when you get into the monthly thing and you'll get like your amount that you're getting paid out and then like all this type of stuff, it's easy to like kind of forget and not really look at the overall picture. Like, I didn't realize it until I looked at the overall picture with some of these numbers that I was actually losing. Like, to me it makes so much more sense to take the product, go out another market or something, and make more money. Like, I don't know. So because of that, I'm not going to continue that store. Between the drive, the time, like for me the biggest thing is time. I only have so much time in the day between doing this crocheting stuff, between my other business that takes up so much time with the horses. I don't have that much time, and I have to make certain that like I'm valuing my time. So that's one of my things for 2025, valuing my time, making certain that I'm the priority, because essentially I want Traveling Pony Studio to become my main source of income, because horses are always so hit or miss. I would rather invest the time that I have in a day to doing things for this business than necessarily crocheting things, giving it to another business, and then like the return not be worth it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to prioritize myself, and I feel like also doing 4 stores was a lot of stress for me at times. Like, at times I could handle it, but then, you know, if I had a market and then I had stores that needed all this product and I like had this market, then I'm giving up all this product to the stores because they need things, but then I still have this market, so then I gotta go crazy crocheting things. That's why I made so many small items. I have so much enjoyed recently being able to crochet things that I kind of want to crochet. As you can tell, I've got like a Vaporeon, an Umbreon, a Sonic, that little Jester Dragon, all those things that I would have never been able to crochet when I'm doing markets, stores, all these things. Like, there's zero way I could hardly get through the numbers I needed to get through. So I have so much enjoyed crocheting things that I am interested in, and that kind of give me this like spark of like, oh, this is really why I got into it, you know? It's definitely something that I'm like, if I'm just doing markets and I'm just doing one store, the difference is like I can hit this number of what I want to make, and I'm probably not gonna have to worry about it so much because I'm not supplying 4 separate stores. I just have one store. They keep a low quantity of stock. They're super close to me, so I just run things over there. Like, it's such an easy drive. They're so close. They're so nice. We get along great. I know a lot of people have asked me about the stores. I'll break it down more in another video, but I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. The real reason for the store is just the money. Money, time, and I feel like through this whole experience, I've really solidified that I like to work by myself. In the regards, just like, I like to have complete control over everything. I guess I am a little bit of a control freak, but I feel like stores, I lose an aspect of the control because I am having to go through somebody else, and that's kind of difficult for me. I definitely like to have control. This is my baby. Like, I also want all of my products to represent me. Like, there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, is somebody gonna go to a store and then if they have a bad experience, I hope it's not gonna reflect on me. Like, you know, there's just so many aspects that I can't control, and I like to control it all. So there might be some people who are like, oh, well, are you factoring in commissions and credit card fees to your base price at these stores? Yes, I am. So that's another thing. I take, like, say I have a $12 item. When I send them to stores, I'm gonna add, say, 30 or 40% commission, whatever the store charges. And then on top of that, I add the credit card fee. So essentially, yes, I am still making my base price back. So it's not like some people who send a $12 item and then they're just losing money that way. Like, I'm losing money still, even with all the extra added, if that makes sense. My last store that I have been at through July through November, and the one that I'm planning on keeping, I made about $3,377 between the fees and everything. That was about $1,207, and then overall I've made about $2,169. So that is the store that I'm planning on keeping. I have a super good relationship with the people. They're super nice. They're super close to me. I also love the vibes. It's in a good place to me. It's in the same place that I do my markets. Like, it's just good vibes overall. So I'm gonna keep them because they are so close, and I always go there for food. So I'm like, I'm there all the time. Like, it's not an inconvenience like driving an hour away. That's pretty much everything I have for stores. If you guys have specific question for stores, please let me know, because look, I got this beautiful drop off, guys. Like, come on. I'm gonna do more talking, yapping videos. And if you guys have any business questions, I'm not the most business savvy, but if you have store questions, business questions, drop them below. Let me answer them. Let's have a chat. Y'all know what? I'm a yapper. Professional yapper. Now, let's go over YouTube stats. 2023, my channel had 74,183 views. I think I started YouTube. So I started YouTube originally with the Traveling Pony. That was my original brand, and it was an equestrian podcast and equestrian social media content creation type thing. I worked for a few brands where I did kind of like content creation for them, and I guess I was sponsored, so I was paid every month to do ads, all that type stuff. So that's how Traveling Pony came about. Then I got into the polymer clay, and then it became like a studio, and I didn't want to marry myself to Traveling Pony, like anything with crochet, because as I said, like, I don't know how all of this is gonna expand, so I wanted to keep studio so it could be very broad, so I could have like the crochet, the eyes. If I get into designing anything, like, I wanted to keep it broad. I originally had started my YouTube channel. If you go all the way back, I think there's some videos that are like dedicated towards the horse stuff. I think there's a video of like me during the day at the barn. I think there's another video with me talking about like the horses I've owned. So that's how the channel started, but I didn't really take it seriously. Nobody watched it. Like, nobody cared about me. It wasn't until I got into the crochet that like things really popped off. I think I would say I had about 6 months at this point on YouTube for the first 2023. It might be 4 months. It was whenever I started doing markets, because I was like, okay, this is my push to start. 2024, this, I think, I can't remember when I wrote all these numbers down. It might have been like 2 weeks ago. I had 218,855, a very big increase. Thank you all. my amazing community. I love you guys so much. And in 2023, my watch time was a little bit over 4,000 hours. And in 2024, my watch time was 14,261. I still can't believe people like to watch me. Like, I flick my imaginary hair. My yap session and me just like literally looking dead half the time because I'm wrapped up in my hood. Like I'm wearing a hood. I'm wearing this, guys, because it's getting really cold in Georgia. It's supposed to be like 18 degrees next week, and y'all know I always shave my head, right? I haven't shaved my head because it's been so cold, and I don't want to shave it before it gets like, literally the wind chill's supposed to be in the negatives. The girl's still gonna be outside at 5 a.m. So I haven't shaved my head and my hair is freaking crazy, and I didn't want to wear a hoodie, so beanie. But I always laugh when people watch my videos. I'm like, guys, I look like a crazy deranged woman. Thank you so much for watching. 2023, my subs was 825 by the end of the year, and then 2024 I have 1,595 subs. I think as of when I'm recording this video, I have 2,434 absolutely crazy to think. Like, mind is still blown about that. Oh my gosh, guys, my camera is gonna die soon, so you girl has to stop yapping at some point. But the revenue that I made from YouTube this year was $652.40. Definitely nothing crazy, definitely nothing to live off of or do anything crazy. Like, it was just enough to help me. Like, if I bought a pattern, you know, girl bought 20 patterns this year. I definitely see the opportunity to grow with YouTube and social media. So 2025, I really want to focus on YouTube. There were so many times that I would go so ham and then I would be like, I can't touch the camera. So I definitely feel like 2025, I'm gonna focus on content creation. I'm gonna go all out on it. And I'm gonna work really hard on short form content too. My TikTok kind of pops off at times, but I don't focus on it. So I definitely want to utilize that and then hopefully grow the YouTube channel to the point where the money that I make from YouTube could go towards paying Sloan's board, which is about $1,000 every single month. That would be my ideal world, would be able to make enough monthly income from YouTube to help pay with that, because that would be extremely helpful. I feel like I have kind of covered everything that I wanted to cover. I mean, you guys, I got a whole 2025 to yap. You know, there's gonna always be something coming up. But I feel like that's pretty much everything. If you guys have any questions, like I said, please let me know. I'm always willing to answer them. I'm a pretty transparent person. Like, I'm not trying to hide any secrets. Like, I don't really got that many secrets. I'm a pretty open, honest individual, if we're being honest. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'd love to answer them. And I want to come on here and say that 2024 was a very difficult year for me for a lot of reasons, but it was also one of the best years for me because I was able to really focus on crocheting and creating this community. And I just want to let you guys know, like, I literally read all of y'all's comments. I might not reply the first day everyone comments, but I read them, and like, some of y'all's comments literally make me cry. Like, I'll have such a bad day or I'll be so mentally exhausted and tired, and I read people's comments and I'm like, I can't believe that I'm so fortunate and lucky to have the opportunity to create content and post things on YouTube and have so many amazing subscribers and like followers that like my content, that comment on my content. Like, I don't know, I'm always blown away by it, because I always look at myself and I'm like, this is just little old me. Like, I've always been on the sidelines, staying away from attention, and just never had many friends. I don't really have anyone I talk to. I'm always surprised that people like want to listen to me, want to talk to me, and I don't know. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm just always surprised. So I just want to say thank you guys for making 2024 one of the best years for me, especially in terms of being able to create things and being able to crochet and being able to do this a little bit more instead of having to do some other things I wouldn't like to do all the time. So thank you guys so much. I also want to say I made a P.O. box last year. So if you guys ever want to send me anything, I would love to, like, if you guys want to send me things, I'll show it on camera. I don't have a big following, but I love to do small business unboxings. And if you guys send me notes or anything, I have all this wall space now, and I have wall space over there, and I would love to put up like notes, letters, anything that you guys want to send. If you don't want to send anything, that's fine too. Like, I get it, you know, I get it. But if anybody wanted to, I'd love to be able to show like stuff, because I definitely have more wall space and I'm trying to make it a little bit more vibey, you know? So, but my PO box is in my description. If you do send me something, just kind of like let me know, because I never get anything, so I like wouldn't think to even look. I'd be like, a letter? From who? I don't know. But I feel like that's everything I have for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed different spots. I mean, let me show you guys. I feel like this is one of my favorite things I've made recently. Look at it! Like, I'm just so proud that I've had time recently to crochet what I want to crochet. I wish I could do it every single day, but I can't. I do love my guys that I can't crochet. It's just so cute. But I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I can't wait to see what 2025 has to bring. Can't wait to see what 2025 has to bring to you. Hopefully the best vibes, the best opportunities, the best markets. You guys know I'm cheering you on just as much as y'all cheer me on. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day. I hope you guys have an amazing year, and I will see you guys in whatever videos next. Bye.